Hey guys, just a little thing before the video starts. As you can see, the video is rather long, so I'll just be posting one image over the entire video. There won't be any like little images or anything, so just feel free to tab over and do something else while listening to it. Yeah, so just with that out of the way, let's get into the video.
Hey guys, it's Amberstorm here, and today I'm back with another video finally. So with the release of Echoes a few months ago, and the Fire Emblem 16 coming closer and closer, I thought I would revisit one of my original videos where I talked about what I would like to see in FE. Well, it was FE15 there because we didn't know FE15 would be a Gaiden remake. But I guess it would be FE16 now. And now that I've really had because in that time period it's been under a year, but it's been quite a while. I've gotten a lot more experience in Fire Emblem. I think when I made that video, I had played Sacred Stones, Awakening, Birthright, well, all of Fates actually, and FE7 at that point. But now I've played FE6, I played FE4, I've played FE5, I'm starting FE3, um, and I've played FE12 as well. So on top of all those, so I have a lot more knowledge now. So I feel like I really want to go back and take and kind of look through that video and kind of just give my opinion on what me as a Fire Emblem player now would want from FE16. And I actually have a list here, so I can keep on track. Yes, I actually planned for this one. Alright, so, first thing I want to talk about is I'll focus on some of the stuff that was introduced in Shadows of Valentia, because people seem to think that I just hate Echoes, and I hate everything about it. They're like, oh, you just hate Echoes, blah, 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 you hate anything that's different. No. That's not it at all. I have no problem with change if change is executed well. You can't just remain stagnant forever in a series, but you can't go from like Final Fantasy 6 to Final Fantasy 13. Somewhere in there something went wrong. So I like change, it just has to be done right. And Echoes does have some interesting mechanics in it. Some of the stuff that was in Gaiden, some of the stuff that was added in Echoes, and other stuff less so. But we'll get into that later. So the first thing I want to go over is the spell sets and the skill system from that Echoes introduced. With like all the different combat arts that uses HP and things like that. I actually kind of like this system. I'm not gonna lie. I like the idea of using HP for combat skills. The thing with the combat skills in Echoes is that they're either completely shit, they're decent skills, but they're tied to bad weapons, or they're just fucking broken. Because you have, let me give an example. You just have really basic shit like Wrath Strike, which is, I guess it's just an early game skill, so it's not that bad, but it's not that useful. But then you have stuff like Wind Sweep, which would actually be pretty useful for doing like chip damage or something that you need, but it's tied to a bad sword. I think it's tied to the Iron Sword, which is pretty bad sword. It's just a basic one. And then you have shit like Double Lions and Tiger Stance running around, which are just fucking busted out the ass. And Hunter's Volley too, I believe. Yeah, those are just completely busted. So though they really need to work on balancing it, but I think if you balance it, it can work. As for like the skill system from Fates, with all the different passive skills and things like that, it could work with some major balancing. I know Echoes has some skills as well, like Apotrope and things like that. Please don't bring back Apotrope. That's fucking broken. Please don't have all magic damage all the time. What the hell, guys? That's crazy. But it would be kind of hard because I feel like with some of them, they would be a bit broke. Like some combos you can make would just be ridiculous. But even then, you could take some of the Fate skills and just incorporate them into some new combat moves. Like Armored Blow, you could have Armored Blow be a combat skill. Aggressor, you could have be a combat skill. Yeah, just stuff like that. If you could balance it out, I think it'd be a lot better. As for spell sets, I'm not sure. I've actually been debating like SP, MP, however you want to call it, because like is adding skill points / magic points, whatever you want to call it, is a huge step. It's a huge step for Fire Emblem to take, and it would probably be magic points, because that would be for magic. Ed combat skills would use HP, kind of like how Persona does it, and Shin Megami Tensei as a whole. But I feel like because mages have such small HP pools, mages and clerics, because clerics would be using magic as well, usually have the smallest HP pools of any class. So making them waste HP to do it, it hurts them. That's the reason why I feel Delthea isn't ridiculously good, because a lot of her stronger spells take so much HP, and she has so little of it to begin with that she essentially is almost always on life support. That's why I feel Delthea isn't that great as a unit. So yeah, maybe add MP. I'm not sure. It would be a very bold addition, but like I said, if change helps, then I'm all for change. I'm all for change. And on the topic of spell lists, I think I like the idea of spell listings. It echoes how as the mages level up, they get spells over time. I think that's what physical units need. Like every physical unit has their own combat art list, like, and they learn it by leveling up. Like I said, similar to how mages do it. Like, and you could also use this to create like a bunch of interesting niches in characters. Like one mercenary can have armored blow, another mercenary can have warding blow. So that one mercenary becomes kind of like a physical unit killer, and the other mercenary becomes this type of mage killer. Although mercenaries wouldn't be good mage killers really, because they don't have an easy 1-2 range. But maybe like a lance user, like a soldier or something, could have warding blow because they have javelins, things like that. So I think that could really help people with their niches, because Fates worked a bit with giving units niches by the personal skills. That gives some units some niches, but I feel like personal skills, they're not completely irrelevant, but they kind of like taper off over time, because like 4 damage, like in the late game, it can be really helpful sometimes, but other times, what else? So I feel like, yeah, giving every character their own personal combat art list for physical units and giving mages their own personal spell list would be really interesting. Yeah, I would like that. I would like that. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd give add another layer of tactical prowess, because then you have to worry about what's it called? It wouldn't just be always just a clicking attack. You would have to think like, okay, would I want to try maybe an armored blow here? But if I sacrifice this HP to use armored blow, will that mage be able to do more damage to me? Will I be in danger from that? It would add a bit more of a tactical thing, I feel. Others may have different opinions, but like I said, this is just all my personal opinion. So that's out of the way. And the other thing I wanted to talk about mainly from Echoes was towns and dungeons. Scrap dungeon. Just get rid of... I'm not a fan of dungeons at all. I am not a fan of grinding in Fire Emblem. I feel it really yanks you out of the immersion. So just no dungeons at all. Just give us a straight linear story to follow. Just go from chapter to chapter. So yeah, scrap dungeons. Towns, on the other hand, I find towns to be a really interesting mechanic. Because I feel like towns can really be used for multiple purposes. For one, it's that towns really give you more of a sense of like, this is a wide world with multiple people. I mean, I know like villages exist and stuff, but like like one person speaking for like an entire village, like if there's an actual town with like multiple people you can go around and talk to, I feel like that can really help to add some more, like, make the world feel a bit more vibrant. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And also you could so what I would propose for the town system is like it Echoes, every few chapters you would unlock a town. Like maybe you're going through the woods for some chapters, and then you come across a town, and then you can like stay in that town and you could stock up. Like there would be item shops there. You could buy weapons or vulneraries, stuff like that. I guess you would also probably need like ethers or something to restore MP if I'm going with the MP system. But no, and then like another thing I feel is like you could. I think base conversations did something like this in Tellius, where the bases between each chapter. I'm not a Tellius expert when it comes to like mechanics. I know growth rates and bases, and that's pretty much it. But like you could use that for support, like certain, like when you go to a town, it would unlock unique conversations between characters. Like maybe when you go to a town, you would have two mercenaries that go to a bar, something like that, and that could unlock support or something. I don't feel like supports, like you should have some supports that could only be unlocked in towns, and then like other supports, because I think if you do towns, then you would have to have like field bases. Like when you aren't in a town, you have like a base like Tellius that you set up camp and stuff, and you might have like a simple merchant that you can buy basic weapons from, like iron swords or stuff like that, until you reach another town to buy stronger weapons. But yeah, and then back on subject, I don't want all supports, like only certain ones can be unlocked in towns, only certain ones can be unlocked in the base. They would have to find a way to work that out, but it could be a very interesting mechanic that you could have certain conversations that increase your knowledge on the characters, because I feel that system, it would really make the characters feel more human. Because the problem I had with Fates is, I've mentioned this before, is that because the support pools are so large, the characters just feel very repetitive and do the same stuff over and over and over. And Echo supports are okay. Echo supports are hit and miss, I find. There's some good supports. There's like Lucas and Clive, Sonia and Jenny. And then there's ones like Almond Faye and Clive and Matilda that don't really go anywhere and just are cringe-inducing. But no, I think that would work to humanize the characters, because I feel like that's something that Fire Emblem really needs. If you connect with the characters, then you could actually feel like sadness when you die. It's not just like, oh man, I lost my hard hitter. It's like, oh, I lost this character that I actually really enjoyed learning about. Stuff like that. So yeah, have like towns and bases, and just bring that back, but get rid of dungeons. I feel like that would be my personal thing. And I should probably touch on forging while I'm at it, just because like the forging was in the towns and echoes. Don't do echoes forging. I'm not a fan of that system. Just do the basic Tellius forging, or I guess Shadow Dragon forging, and I think Awakening did the same as well, where you can just pick what you want to upgrade and then you pay. Then you pay based on what you choose to upgrade, because that can make some really broken shit, and I find that funny. Yeah, but no, not the Fate system or the Echo system. I feel those are bland and they're boring. They're boring. Frankly. What else? What else is? I have a long list of stuff here. Well, I guess since I touched on supports briefly, I should go over supports again. I don't think it's very surprising that I don't want S supports to return. Nor do I want the child system to return at all. I don't enjoy the child system at all. I feel it breaks immersion. It's very hard to explain unless you're doing a time travel plot. And don't do a time travel plot, guys. Please don't do a time travel plot. I hate don't bring time travel into my Fire Emblem. Please don't do it. But S supports, I'm just not a fan of S supports in general. It feels like, I don't want to bring up the waifu simulator thing, but it kind of does. It kind of does. I will touch on my unit later as well, but I just don't. It's too shipping. It's too shippy. It's too shippy. No. So no S supports. Just do something like GBA, where you have a limited amount of supports per unit. The support pools are small so that they're well written and they aren't just repeated over and over. Make supports like every conversation you learn about a different aspect. Don't have it so that you are all learning about this one aspect over and over for like 5 different supports. Yeah, make them unique. You don't have to have all of them be like these really deep conversations that question the moralities of war and all that. You can have some fun supports. You can have some fun characters, but don't make every character a joke character. And have some supports show depth and emotion and really just morality. Make some of them do that at least. So yeah, that's supports. I guess I can go over the thing that supports are most commonly associated now, which is pair up. Once again, I don't like pair up. I feel pair up really. I feel Fates tried to fix pair up by adding the dual strikes and such, but the problem is that dual guard was so much better than dual strike because, like I said in my last video, HP scaling in Fates was very bad. They did a lot of damage, but you have very low HP, so you pretty much had to dual guard. So yeah, I'm just not overall a fan of pair up because it cuts your army in half, and it's kind of forced, especially in Awakening. Like, no pair up in Awakening, it pretty much becomes like bad bases emblem. Like, holy shit, unit bases in Awakening. You don't realize how bad bases are in Awakening until you remove pair up. Even Frederick's bases aren't even that good. They don't last them. They last them maybe until chapter like 11. Yeah, so no pair up, just balance it. If you were going to absolutely have pair up, what I would personally do, it would be kind of difficult to do, but the Switch has a lot of processing power, I believe. Make it 2 different modes. Make it pair up mode and like super classic mode. Like, have pair up, the enemy stats are balanced out so that you can do pair up if you want, but then have like a classic mode that balances stats to where you can like pair up, you can't pair up at all, and that the stats are balanced to that. And you might say, well, just don't do pair up. I'm going to reference don't pair up in Awakening again, because no pair up in Awakening is hard as shit. Especially if you don't do kids. Like, I'll be doing a video on that later because I've actually done it. And we created an entire mode about it, and I'll talk about that. But no, I feel you either have to do all pair up or no pair up. You can't, so 2 modes would be an interesting choice, but overall I'd say just scrap pair up entirely. So there's that. And on the concept of difficulty, wow, I'm leaning into these like crazy. Casual, classic, and Phoenix mode. Classic mode obviously should stay. It's the basic mode of Fire Emblem. Casual mode, I've been on the fence of casual mode for a while. Phoenix mode, screw Phoenix mode. Like, Phoenix mode is just so bad. Phoenix mode's an abomination. I'm sorry if you like Phoenix mode, but it's an abomination. And no, it teaches you bad habits. It's just it's not Fire Emblem. Phoenix mode is not Fire Emblem. It's pretty much like just auto win. And I don't like it when games are auto win, especially when it's Fire Emblem where it's supposed to be a thinking game. Auto winning is just not good. Casual, I'm relatively fine with because it can give people some introduction, but it's not just like brain dead skillless because you can still wipe your army in casual mode. But it's not like Phoenix mode where, like, I'm pretty sure in Phoenix mode, every unit can die in 1 turn and they will all revive next turn. I'm pretty sure. Even if you lose all your units in 1 turn, they just come back. But no, keep classic, maybe keep casual, but ditch Phoenix entirely. Alright. So, let's see, what else could I talk about? I guess I can go over stats, what I want. Stat caps, I like 20 stat caps, like the ones that were in FE1, FE3, and FE5. I like 20 stat caps because I feel the thing that Fire Emblem does that I like over other RPGs is that, well, other RPGs, the numbers get so asininely, I don't even know if I'm using that word right, but ridiculous. They get so high and so ridiculous that you kind of lose the meaning of what they are. Like, you don't really process. It's like you see, I'll reference Tales of the Abyss, one of my favorite games. You see like 1500 attack, 1200 defense. You're like, okay, that's high, I guess, but it doesn't really convey anything to you. But in Fire Emblem, if stats cap at 20, because the numbers are so low, you can really like process like how strong a unit is just like one glance. Like Fire Emblem 5. If you accidentally summon Galzus in Chapter 5 of Fire Emblem 5, and you see those base stats, you're immediately like, what the fuck? What is this man? Who is this? I gotta boogie my ass out of here. Yeah, just stuff like that. it really allows you to process it, and it hits you better when a unit has like godly base stats, like Galzus does when you eventually get him to be playable. Or what's another unit with like godly bases? Blah, 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 blah. I could say Harkin in FE7, but that is in 20 stats. That's one example, obviously. Yeah, just it makes the stats hit you better. Like you could tell what a unit like, and because of 20 stats, every unit it helps balance more because you aren't seeing like in Awakening, you aren't seeing like Morgan sitting here with 52 defense, and then Muriel sitting over here at a similar level with 12 defense. Like, huh? I mean, Morgan's broken anyway, so that's probably not the best example, but there's just these huge differences in stats. Like, there's units with, like, 30 defense, and then there's units with, like, 12 defense. And that's why I like 20 stats a bit more, because it makes the stats a bit closer. Like, yeah, you might have 20 defense and 8 defense, but that's still closer, I feel. Yeah, so I feel 20 stat caps would work. And obviously, that's not HP. 20 HP cap, no. Maybe like 60. 60 is an HP cap, or 40. I think FE1 HP caps at 40, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because Linda can pretty much one-hit... Well, Linda can one-hit KO, or one-round KO everything, because Aura does 40 damage if she doubles. Yeah, so there's that. And HP scaling as well, I guess. Don't do Fates and don't do Echoes. That's all I'm going to say. Echoes HP scaling is absolutely stupid. First of all, why is it 52, the HP cap? I don't understand why 52. It's such a weird number. But no, HP scaling in Echoes is way too high. Stuff takes way too long to kill. So yeah, and Fates, HP scaling is so low, like most units die so easily without dual guard. So yeah, there's that. HP scaling, inventory. Oh yeah, this was another thing I wanted to go over about Echoes. Inventory. Echoes' inventory had an interesting idea, but I feel like it could be done better. Like, what I would think is, if you had two main slots, one of them could be a weapon, like a sword or an axe or a lance, and then another one could be a shield or a ring, and then maybe you could even add something for mages, like maybe rods or something. But that'd be a very that's way out of the park. But no, just adding something like shields or rings as a second item slot, like a secondary item, and then you have your normal inventory. That's like maybe 5 items. So I think Fire Emblem 3 did that. Like, you had like the 2 or 3 weapon slots, and then you had an item slots as well. Like, you had an inventory for weapons and then an inventory for items. I think that's how Fire Emblem 3 worked. I'm not certain, but yeah, just and also bring back star shards or scrolls or whatever. Just because I like that, because it helps unit balancing even more. Because you can really help to customize your army by giving them star shards, and it helps to fix unit weaknesses. Like, I'll pull Lolita. Most of you know my opinion about Lolita, but if you were to give Lolita the SETI scroll from Fire Emblem 5, that would fix all of Lolita's problems, and she would just become this absolute mega warhead. Probably not as good as Asbel, because Asbel is just I love Asbel so much. He's such a good unit. But no, that I feel it can help to fix a lot of unit problems. So yeah, that definitely what I would do. I would add star shards, and I would have 2 inventory slots, 1 weapon, 1 shield / ring, and then 5 item slots. Yeah, that would be my personal choice for how to do inventory. I know it's a bit different, but it's kind of similar to how Fire Emblem 3 did it, I feel. Alright, so there's inventory. Trading. Trade strats. I know trading doesn't seem like this big deal, but if you guys watch gas stations, Echo's Let's Play, some of the crazy trade strats that he does is amazing. Some of the trade strats Gast pulls is just incredible to watch. Some of his pro strats are just amazing. They're just incredible to watch. Very enjoyable. Gast's Let's Play of Echoes overall has been very enjoyable. Probably the most fun I've had watching Echoes. But my personal, how I would do trading is I would do it once again like how Fire Emblem 5 did it. For those of you who don't know, when Fire Emblem 5, what you could do is you could trade over, and you could trade as many times as you want per turn with a unit. Like, it wasn't limited to only trading once. Like, in newer Fire Emblem games, like, you could trade once, and then you have to, like, end your turn. With Tricia 776, like, let's say you have two units, like, one space away from each other, there's one space between them. A unit could come between those. He could, like, pull an item off the unit to the right, and then give it to the unit to the left on the same turn. You don't have to, like, go, like, I'm gonna go between them, I'm gonna trade it from the right to me, and then I have to wait a turn, and then next turn I'll give it to the person on the left. You can just do it super quick, and I like that. I like that a lot. It makes it really cool. Like, you could, like, do some crazy stuff. Like, if you only have one hammer and there's two knights, you could do some crazy stuff, like just trading around, and you can get, like, both knights dead with the hammer in one turn. Yeah, just some crazy stuff. And I really like trade strats are probably some of my favorite strategies in Fire Emblem. I love trade strats. So yeah, there's that. I guess I can go over stuff like classes, promotions, reclassing. I'll do stuff like that. Classes, actually no, before I go into classes and stuff like that, I should just go over weapon triangle. Because I feel like that's more related to inventory and stuff like that. Weapon triangle, I'm not sure what to feel about adding tomes into the weapon triangle. Personally, what I would do with tomes is I want the Trinity of Magic back. The anima, dark, and light magic. Bring back light magic, please. Just please. It adds a lot of variety to it. And then you would go further, and then you would have the fire, the thunder, and the wind, anima magic. And then that goes around, and then there's like as long as the dark and light magic combined with the anima. I really like that magic system. I really like it. Although if you were using like actual magic skill sets, it might be kind of hard. I could see how it would be kind of hard, but no, there could be like specialist mages, and then they could learn like wind and L-wind, and then arc wind, and then Graph Caliber. Please let someone learn. Please bring Graph Caliber back in FE16. There, that's what I want. I want Graph Caliber back. Yeah, and then, I don't really feel like tomes belong in the weapon triangle. Maybe they could create a new weapon type. I know they created shurikens last in Fates. But maybe, first of all, just replace shurikens with daggers, personally, I say. Just get rid of shurikens and ninjas and all that. But maybe the rod idea, that I mentioned earlier, could work. Like giving rods to mages and stuff, but I don't know. I feel like I don't want magic being part of the weapon triangle, so either you find another weapon to make the Fates weapon triangle work, or daggers and bows are just completely removed from the weapon triangle entirely. I'd actually like that second option more. Just removing bows and daggers from the weapon triangle entirely and adding the whole magic triangle back with dark, light magic, and all the different anima types. So yeah, there's that. And now, okay, I can talk about classes now. So, I want, for the next game, just traditional classes. Like, none of this Oni Savage, Blacksmith, Bizarra, all these really, Omioji. Like, what the fuck even is an Omioji? What actually is, can someone please tell me what the fuck an Omioji is? It's like some, like, I heard it's like some weird Japanese exorcist, but no. Just give us very basic classes. Just give us, that's part of the reason why I like Conquest more than Birthright, even over the map design, is Conquest feels very much more Fire Emblem. You got the mercenaries, you got the cavaliers, you got the knights. It feels very traditional. But Hoshido is just like all of this fancy Japanese bullshit. And I don't like fancy Japanese bullshit. I want my medieval Europe stuff. Yeah. So I do, but there are some classes I want. The Malignite, I would not mind that coming back. The blacksmith is, I like the idea of sword and axe users that are, because the blacksmith essentially is a Hoshin general. So maybe like a sword and axe using general, that would be interesting. And then adventurer, the adventurer. I really like the adventurer class. I would like it if adventurers used swords over staves. But then they would just become like bad bow knights. They would just become bow knights without mounts. So yeah, but I do like the adventurer class a lot, and I think that should return. Knife wielders, yeah, just give us normal thieves over ninjas that are just knife users as well. That'd be cool. Yeah, just give us a lot more traditional Fire Emblem classes than we got for Fates. Also, I would like some other classes to return. The Mage Fighter class, or like from FE4, the Mage Knight class from FE4, the Master Knight too. Oh, the Master Knight, that would be great. To see the Master Knight again would be it. For those of you who don't know, the Master Knight was a class in FE4 that was only accessible by Lachesis and Leaf. And they could use every weapon type. Swords, lances, axes, bows, magic, all of it. They could use it. Could they use light magic? I forget if they could use light. I don't think they could use light magic, though. I think that was the one thing they couldn't use. But no, yeah, light magic and dark magic for the Toothache Bastard Knights couldn't use, I'm pretty certain. But no, just having the Master Knight back. If you had like the villager archetype, I don't like Cliff archetypes at all. Like low base units, whether it be Donald, Mozu, Cliff himself, and Echoes, I don't like any of them. I don't like low bases units. I hate Ests, I hate Cliffs. But if you had a unit like that who had like acceptable bases that were just a little bit low, but they could promote into a Master Knight, oh, that would be great. That I would actually probably use that unit just because I love the Master Knight class so much. Promotions. I like single line promotions. I'm not a huge fan of like split promotions and all that. I just like straight promotions. Oh, and also one thing for classes, because I was mentioning promotions and I was reminded of Duke Knights and Great Knights. The split cavalier types as well, like lance calves, swords calves, and axe calves, and bow calves, I guess, if you want to count Astrid and Madir. Yeah, bring those back, because those are really cool as well. All the different archetypes of cavaliers and knights as well. And then bring bow armor knights back too. That would be cool as well. Armor knights with bows. I think I saw a hack with a class that was like a sentry, which was like a knight with swords and bows, and I thought that was a really cool idea. I think it was like an FE1 hack. It was like Doga or something had that. But yeah, there's that. Reclassing. I like the FE12 reclassing system more. I like FE12's reclassing system just because it's simple. You don't have to waste money on it. You can just switch around. You can do some really cool, like one chapter shenanigans. Like you can have the Pala make her into a paladin and have as I call her, the paladin. You can make Swordmaster Linda with the Lemon Sword for like one chapter, then switch her back. You could have all this crazy shenanigans. And I like that. I don't want to waste money and then have to then if I want to just put the back, there's no like short-term use. It's just permanent, or you waste money. And yeah, I like the fast-paced reclassing of FE12 and FE11, obviously more than that. So there's that. I guess I could talk about my unit as well. Okay. My unit. I'd rather my unit not exist. I think most people know that I'm not a fan of my unit. But if my unit absolutely has to exist, make it like Chris in that they don't have a very huge story role. Just no story role at all. It's just maybe someone who just hangs out with the Lord. And then maybe offers, I think Robin Act 1 and 2 Robin, before the Grimleaf arc, is actually pretty good. Because he just kind of sits around and he offers Crom some tactical advice. And he seems like a pretty cool guy. I like Rob. I don't mind Robin at all. That, and he's an amazing unit. Corrin is just bad because they're really trying to push Corrin being you. And Corrin's just not relatable at all because Corrin has to be a lord in this really stupidly forced black and white scenario. And that's not, I don't like Corrin at all. Corrin is an awful example of how to do an avatar. You are not Atlas. You cannot make the silent avatar protagonist. But if so, yeah, just make it so that he doesn't have any plot relevance, or he's just like a simple advisor to the Lord. If he absolutely has to be the Lord, if he has to be the Lord, I'm gonna make a bold idea here. Just make it like goddamn Mass Effect. Give us the option to choose what we say, because there were so many times where even though Corrin, despite being me, I'm saying this in giant air quotes, did so much stupid shit that I never would have done. I never would have done the shit that Corrin did in so many situations. Like, if I saw Hans decapitating villagers, I would have been like, fuck you, and just stabbed him right in the stomach. Because, you know, I'm the motherfucking commander of the army. I'm fucking leading this war, you dumb bitch. But no, give us the option to do what we want. Give us the option to choose what we say. Even add, like, branching paths. Like, you could only unlock certain guidance chapters if you do certain things. That would be cool. But that's only if the Lord has to be a my unit. That is a very bold deviation from the normal Fire Emblem. It would be cool, but it's a very huge deviation. And I would rather just my unit not exist at all. And I guess I can just talk about the aesthetic stuff for the last little bit. Wow, 35 minutes. This is really long. Holy shit, guys. I am so sorry. I did not mean to make this long. Art style. I have a feeling they're going to do the Tellius thing where it's like the full bodies and all that. I just like, for the map animations, just make them the little chibi. Or I guess they're kind of chibi-ish. Like kind of how like Awakening and, just how Awakening and Fates. I actually like Fates' map art style. I really like it. Like, with all like the unique little character sprites with the little heads, and then they all like have like the body. I like that. It's actually kind of cute. I like that art design, and I'd rather that over like the full body ones like Tellius, because like that, I'm not a big fan of that. Animations, I like a lot. I like some of the Tellius animations. Like the Wyvern one where it's like they whack them and then go back up and then whack them again. They go flying. I love that animation. That's great. But Fates has some good ones as well. The Adventurer crit where they go like the woo, and spin around and then shoot the arrow. That's cool. And then there's the fucking horse kick from Echoes. The Gold Knight horse kick. Most of you probably know what I'm talking about, but I love that animation. So if you could find all the way to take all these really awesome, over-the-top, like, crazy animations and just, like, add them in, but don't make it, like, really slow shit. Like, the Awakening animations are pretty slow overall. The spell animations are meh. Fates' spell animations, too, are pretty bleh. But no, just if you could really find some way to do, like, the crazy, over-the-top stuff, that would be what I'd love to see for as far as animations. Art style as well. I like the Echoes art style. I think the Echoes art style, if it could remove a little bit more of the fan service, get more realistic, like Boob Armor, get Boob Armor out of here. I'm not even going to start talking about Boob Armor because I can go into an hour-long talk about how Boob Armor is stupid. But get that out of here. Like, there are some really interesting design, because Tobin's design is really cool. Matilda, if she could just, like, get that little area of chest out of the way for fan service, just because, you know, you're kind of on a mount and people thrust lances, you're easily going to get freaking murdered. But Alm's design's cool. Bowie's design is... Bowie's a meme among me and my friends, but still, I love Bowie's design. It's so cool. And then Conrad's design's pretty cool as well. Yeah. And last thing I'll just talk about it quickly, voice acting. I actually like voice acting. I feel it makes the cutscenes a little slower. I'm trying to remember if the option exists to turn off voice acting, because I probably would at some point, but like the in-battle voice acting with all of the leave it to me with like Volbar and stuff, and stand aside. I love Forsyth. Forsyth's voice actor, it's clear he's having such a ball with it. Tatiana's too. Tatiana's voice actress is adorable. But yeah, I wouldn't mind voice acting. If I could turn it off, that'd be fine, because sometimes it causes cutscenes to drag out a bit. But yeah, voice acting, I'm fine with as long as you can turn it off. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry for rambling so long. But no, that I just really wanted to show people what my personal feelings as a Fire Emblem player, because so many people think that I just really want the series to remain stagnant, and I really don't. I want the series to grow and evolve. I just want it to grow and evolve in a way that won't make it Final Fantasy 13. And I know people like Final Fantasy 13, but as someone who loves Final Fantasy 6, I just look at 13, I'm like, no. But this isn't about Final Fantasy. I just want Fire Emblem I want it to evolve, but also to not lose its own identity. That's what I want from the series. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I didn't say anything at the beginning, but I'll be sure to record a little thing, just saying to just turn it over. Just open another tab. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy, and leave your own comments about what you would like to see, or anything problems you have with me, and I'll try to get back to you. So yeah, thanks guys. Have a great day. My name's Amberstorm, and I am out.